We may only have a few days left, folks. You know things are bad when people who are supposed to be on your side don't necessarily take the same stance as you do. Now, this is exactly what's happening right now with President Biden and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, as they don't agree as to how the 14th Amendment can be used for the debt ceiling limit problem that we're all seeing right now. The House of Representatives is expected to invalidate the plan of the Biden administration to cancel student loans, a plan that could cost American taxpayers more than $400 billion. Both Putin and Zelensky are giving out different statements on the city of Bakhmut, as Putin says that they've already taken it. Meanwhile, you got Zelensky on the other side basically arguing that they're still holding on strong. E. Jean Carroll seeks at least $10 million in new damages against former President Donald Trump after he talked about Carroll in a CNN town hall. And the White House may again be going back on its word by deciding to have F-16 fighter jets back on the table for the Ukraine. Man, don't you just love when they do stuff like this? One guess as to who's going to be paying for all this? You guys could comment the answer to that one down below. Let's not waste any more time. Let's jump right into the video. Also, for the very best way to invest in gold or silver, check out the links in the description down below. It is right below the link to get your free home warranty quote. All right, guys, so Russian President Vladimir Putin has already congratulated his troops and the mercenary Wagner Group for capturing Bakhmut, a statement that Ukrainian Vladimir Zelensky has strongly denied, even though his own deputy defense minister has said that the situation in the city is critical.
Chief Yevgeny Prigozhin said on Saturday his Wagner fighters had completed the capture of Bakhmut. Prigozhin made the claim in a video in which he appeared in combat fatigues in front of a line of fighters holding Russian flags and Wagner banners. Today at 12 noon, Bakhmut was completely taken, he said. Ukraine rejected the claim and said fighting was still going on. Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar described the situation in Bakhmut as, quote, critical, and said Ukrainian troops were maintaining a defense in the southwestern part of the city.
Much like what's happened this entire war, none of us are quite sure what's happening over there, although Ukraine may be getting a little bit more help sooner rather than later. Do you guys know the saying about how things age like fine wine? Well, this clip I'm about to show you is not one of those examples.
Putin's war against Ukraine was never be a victory. Democrats are rising to meet the moment, rallying the world on the side of peace and security. We're showing the strength and we'll never falter. But look, the idea that we're going to send in offensive equipment and have planes and tanks and trains going in with American pilots and American crews, just understand, and don't kid yourself, no matter what you all say, that's called World War III.
So welcome to World War III then? Because President Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. has just given the green light for F-16 fighter jets to be provided to the Ukraine. That was a quick change of heart for our president. Man, Zelensky is really good at convincing world leaders to provide him with all of this money and weapons, huh? Maybe President Biden should get some tips, as he's definitely going to need it with the House of Representatives, as Republicans are looking to vote on a resolution that would invalidate his plan to forgive student loans. The resolution, led by Representative Bob Good, it's said to be receiving strong support, but with Good saying this, quote, President Biden's student loan transfer scheme shifts hundreds of billions of dollars of payments from student loan borrowers onto the backs of Americans who did not agree to take out the loans. I am proud to lead the fight against President Biden's reckless, unilateral, and unauthorized action that would unfairly penalize those who worked hard to pay off their loans or who never took out loans in the first place, end quote. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that the loan forgiveness plan would cost taxpayers around $400 billion over the next 10 years, with others saying that it could balloon all the way up to $500 billion. Now, the White House is adamant that this is still a good plan and tried to defend the president's decision through a statement. Quote, the resolution is an unprecedented attempt to undercut our historic economic recovery and would deprive more than 40 million hardworking Americans of much needed student debt relief. Nearly 90% of the relief provided by the Department of Education will go to Americans earning less than $75,000 per year, and no relief would go to any individual or household in the top 5% of incomes. Americans should be able to have a little bit more breathing room as they recover from the economic strains associated with the C-19 pandemic, end quote. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Now, it's pretty clear that the president and the House of Representatives don't quite see eye to eye with this entire issue, much like how Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen doesn't see how Biden can actually use the 14th Amendment to avoid a default. But here's what the president said about it during the G7 meeting in Japan. can. Quote, I think we have the authority. The question is, could it be done and invoked in time that it would not be appealed and as a consequence pass the date in question and still default on the debt? That's a question that I think is unresolved, end quote. Now, Janet Yellen, on the other hand, she says that the president may not be able to use this as it may not be applicable to this particular situation. But check it out for yourself.
Is the 14th Amendment fall into the category of extraordinary measures?
Well, extraordinary measures is used in a different way, but there has been much discussion of the 14th Amendment. And as President Biden said, I believe this morning, it doesn't seem like something that could be appropriately used in these circumstances, given the legal uncertainty around it and given the tight time frame we're on. So my devout hope is that Congress will raise the debt ceiling.
So Biden thinks that he has the authority, while Janet Yellen says that there are some legal uncertainties around using this 14th Amendment. You know what? I feel bad and really sad for Americans who are on SNAP, EBT, food stamps, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and our veterans. Like, why is it that our government officials just can't make up their minds? They're the ones that are first affected. Now, I can't wrap my head around it, honestly. But what do you guys think? Will this all be solved at the 11th hour with both sides claiming a victory? Or are they really just going to allow us to default? From President Biden, let's move over to Donald Trump, as he looks to have even more problems with E. Jean Carroll, with Carroll asking a judge to amend her initial defamation case against the former president. Meanwhile, Trump has appealed the jury's judgment to have him pay Carroll $5 million for abuse. The author is now seeking at least $10 million in new damages, as the former president went on a tirade against her during a CNN event. Her attorney, Roberta Kaplan, she said this about the event that had more than 3 million Americans tuned in. Quote, Trump lashed out against Carroll during a televised primetime town hall event hosted by CNN. He doubled down on his prior defamatory statements, asserting to an audience all too ready to cheer him on that I never met this woman, I never saw this woman, that he did not sexually assault Carroll, and that her account, which had just been validated by a jury of Trump's peers one day before, was a fake, made-up story invented by a whack job, end quote. So, what do you guys think of all this? Now, $10 million is a lot of money. That is if Carroll wins. Make sure to let your thoughts be heard in the comment section down below. You know who else leaves a lot of money? A huge chunk of American households. I mean, who isn't using their credit cards for necessities nowadays, right? Who visits Walmart, Target, or any other store for that matter and comes out with more bags compared to a year ago? Who has more savings compared to debt right now? Now, I'm thinking that it's a small number of us, but I don't believe that this should be the case for anybody in our community. Now, if you're one of the many people who are here in the community that are willing to learn about methods to overcome your financial troubles, feel free to drop me a comment down below. By the way, right now, you should be seeing 2 videos right above my head. Definitely click these videos and check out the next one. Now, I want you guys to understand and know that with side hustles, small businesses, they can generate multiple streams of income and they can improve your cash flow. We can talk about these. We can talk about wise investments within the stock market, opportunities in real estate, but you got to take the first step. Now, before I go, guys, don't forget to drop a like for the video. Also, share this video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for your daily dose of the truth, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.